that building. Now, if you come on a diagonal here, you're going to see a hand emerging. That hand emerging, it's a mural called A Native American Lost in Chicago Daydreaming. Now that area is a huge character in our narrative today because it was a shipping superhighway. Side by side. The building itself actually has a freeway running through it. To give you an idea of how smart our city planners are, they left a space in that building for this freeway 20 years before there was this freeway. The building itself has just gotten an $800 million reboot. Now next door to that, we're going to do a style change. That again is what's called Gateway Number 4. Gateway Number 4 is a postmodern building. So why is it postmodern? Because it is a themed building. In this case, it is to be a boat on the river. States in the mid-1920s. We do not know what to call it because it's from Europe, so we're like, make it international. So, but what was here before this was another building by Daniel Burnham. Burnham built and designed the city of Chicago. Union Station was the front, party in the back. We're going to expose the train tracks by design. Now, every building here cannot be built onto the ground. They must lease the air above that, so that's called air rights. Every building spends Chicago in the 90s. It echoes the style of Art Deco. In this case, it mirrors the building directly north. If you look at those two towers, you got two towers here and two towers there. So it echoes Deco. Also, if you look at the corner offices, he built in as many corner offices as possible because back here, the horizontal part, there are no caissons. So it literally is held up by the vertical part of the building. There's an advanced trellis system above the horizontal part of the building that absorbs all of the weight into the vertical part. We're going to go a lot further north. We're going to go up to and see where the new casino is going to be. We're also going to see the opening of the Montgomery Ward campus. Over here on the right hand, to a rostrum to utter the following words. I humbly accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States. Abe Lincoln nominated on this site to be our president. Today, it's a bar. Party then, party now. There you go. So this is our first low bridge that the captain warned you about. So refrigeration coils. Of course, ice, salt, vinegar, those were three elements. In this case, what they did was they froze horsehair and cork together, and that served as insulation in the walls. It worked so well that 100 years later, a guy by the name of Harry Weiss wanted to turn this into condos. Everybody thought he was crazy because this was all industrial down here. Some buildings, it worked so well.
Yes.
And we can go further north. Those rivers splinter into about 156 miles. We're going to curve now. If you look at the Nuveen building, the Nuveen building is also postmodern. So it is coming up. Now this area, these three buildings, that is Wolf Point East, Wolf Point South, and this is Wolf Point West. I used to send people to the old Holiday Inn there to have a beautiful meal after the ride. Because it's cheap, it looks good, the city looks nice. Can't do that anymore. That horn's got a voice crack. And of course, because Chicago does not honor something called viewing rights. So if you have a beautiful large apartment high up in the sky, somebody can't. Thank you. we can take. There are plenty of other opportunities to take photos. Just want to make sure that everybody can. Lake, the Riverwalk, it goes from Lake Street all the way down to Lake Michigan. It's $100 million of brand new construction, inspired by, of course, the San Antonio Riverwalk. Every single one of these is called a room. Every room has a theme. This is called the jetty. That's for the environment. The silver pylons right there, below those are floating fish hotels. So back in that's Marriott. Now that, of course, they used that as their church. They pulled up on their boat. But they had to be quick because the cops came. So no love, 5-0, no love. If you're looking for a beautiful view and photograph of Chicago as soon as we clear the Clark, that is to be a champagne bottle. It is built by, of course, the sons of Daniel Burnham, the Burnham brothers. It was built at the height of Prohibition. It has 20 Gothic rocket. The Gothic rocket itself was the skinniest skyscraper in Chicago history. She originally was to have a twin sister across the river. But times of boom and times of bust. You got a lot of money, you can build a lot of stuff. You don't have a lot of money, you can't. Coming up over here, different style. It's the same style, but looks much, much different. We're going to go next door to that to a building called Aqua. We're over here on the right-hand side that has these crazy, curvy balconies on the building. Now, this is by Jeannie Gang. Every single crazy, curvy balcony of this building used GPS mapping.
Oh no, I never thought of it.
Do you guys want your
A spire on top of it, making it the second tallest building in Chicago. Spires count to the height of a building, antennas do not. So of course, if antennas did count to the height of a building, if antennas do count to the height of a building, then the Sears Tower would still be the tallest building. Things door to door. He found gum, he slapped the Wrigley name onto it like a business card. He'd hand it to you at the end of every transaction saying, thank you so much for your business. Turns out people love the gum more than they like the baking soda, and thus an empire was born. In front of that, of course, is Pioneer Chicago Evening, and here in October, the Spook Spectacular. You can look right here at the old Jewelers building from 1926. That is by Frederick R. Dankelberg. The building itself is built in a Beaux-Arts style, inspired by a 16th century Italian monastery. The two piettas on all four corners used to mask water towers that they originally installed in the building for fire prevention. But they thought it was too ugly, so they put the two piettas on the building. On top of the architect would correct me, saying, no, they're not supposed to be corn cobs. They're supposed to be towers of flowers. He wanted you to see big towers of flowers. So they're round like a flower. The balconies are going to be the petals of a flower. These were started in 1960. Below the river here, we built a giant tunnel. It's so huge you could drive a semi through it. It dwarfs the semi. It's called the Giant Tunnel Project. So where all the water from the river can artificially be lowered, it goes into that giant tunnel and then empties out. The School of Architecture is not an actual school. It is a school of design. Also iconic photo right there with the L. So from the time of the Great Pyramids, large stone load-bearing walls would dictate the width and the height of a building. Steel comes into view, and that of course changes everything. We don't know if that was actually owned by Joe Kennedy or not. It was called the Green Door. It was in the back of a closet, and it had a green door. Sometimes younger folks ask me what were speakeasies. They were illegal bars during Prohibition when we banned alcohol here in the United States. And of course, Joe Kennedy was in many speakeasies in his day. We don't know if that's how he found out if this building was for sale or not. But in the murals, there are mosaics in this building are done by Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dolores. let's do one last thing. It's ridiculous, but it's fun, and it's Sunday night, and the weather's pretty good. Let's get our hands up in the air and wave them like you just don't care, and repeat after me. The Bulls. The Bears. The best. On behalf of absolutely nobody, I'd like to swear you in as honorary citizens here to the city of Chicago. Friends, on behalf of the good people here at the Summer of George, that's my friend Gio, Eddie, Captain Joe, and of course Maya down at the bar, we'd like to wish you, in the words of the late broadcasting genius Don Cornelius, we wish you love, we wish you peace, but most importantly, friends, we wish you soul. Stay beautiful, Chicago. We'll see you dockside.
Bravo!